This video is all about the common mistake that we hear people make when it comes to setting up and maintaining a low-tech planted aquarium tank. Number 1, when you are changing water, you use the water pump to suck the gabble. Now, the reason you want to avoid that is because in a low-tech planted aquarium tank, we rely a lot on the natural ecosystem of the tank to help to filter and recycle a lot of this nutrient. Which means the bacteria on the soil as well as the biofilm formed on the soil, they are very helpful bacteria that helps with things like nutrient cycling, nitrification, decomposition, and consumption of algae. Sucking the gabble is a bit like, I have nothing to do, so let's kill some of these tank partners that really help me to maintain the tank. Now, the next mistake is about using chemical-based water fertilizer. The reason is because algae relies a lot on the nutrients in the water, and your plants actually have a lot of advantage to compete with algae. Like the floating plant can take the carbon dioxide from the air, and your submerged plants can have the roots to take the nutrients from the soil. So ideally, you want to rely on the nutrients that is generated from the soil and supply the nutrient through the soil instead of a water-based fertilizer. Next is you are using soft water. Now the reason is because hard water, they typically just have a lot more nutrients, they will be more suitable to a lot of plants, and they also help to ensure that there is a better water stability and reduce metal toxicity. So add a little bit of oyster-grade seashells to make a soft water into hard water. And the next mistake is not having any kind of aerial plant or emergent plant, which is all these floating plants that we see. The reason is because the floating plants would actually help to bring in a lot of oxygen into the water as well as carbon dioxide into the water, which helps a lot with a submerged plant's growth and also help to establish that bacterial ecosystem in your tank. And that's why floating plant, aerial plant, they are really crucial for a low-tech planted aquarium tank. And you know, for our channel, what is really crucial? It is for you to smash the like button on this video. Another mistake that we can also make is that we only rely on aerial plant. That is also not very smart because that way there's not a lot of oxygen in the tank water and the fish would be gasping for air. Ideally, you want to have both emergent plant as well as submerged plant. And if you make this mistake where you only have aerial plant for now, you will probably want to throw in some air stone really quickly so that your fish are able to get oxygen into their system. But one thing to take note with air stone is that they also takes away a lot of the carbon dioxide in the water. So once again, best solution, get both aerial plant as well as submerged plants. Now I know at this point in time it feels like there are so many possible mistakes that even breeding can accidentally kill your tank. But there's also why we have another video on how you can actually set up a low-tech planted aquarium tank properly. The next mistake that we can make in a low-tech tank is to have filter media with nitrifying bacteria. Now, the reason is because all these nitrifying bacteria, they are going to compete with the plant to actually cycle the whole ammonias and nitrates and so on. And one of the things that is mentioned in the book is that if the nitrifying bacteria have cycled up all of the ammonium content, the plant would actually expend a lot of energy to actually transform some of the nitrate content into ammonium again, just so they can absorb the ammonium nutrient into their system, which wastes a lot of energy for the plant. Therefore, in a low-tech planted aquarium tank that is fully set up, you don't really need a nitrifying bacteria or a filter media. The next mistake is about insufficient daylight exposure. Basically, they did an experiment where they have a 10-hour exposure on the hydrilla plant, and they have another setup where they have 12 hours of lights, which is 5 hours of intense light, and then 4 hours of just the lights from the room, and then 5 hours of turning on the lights, intense light again. And they realized that 12 hours actually helps the plant to grow 3 times faster. So ensuring that your plant is exposed to light for a longer duration will also help in their growth big time. And another mistake is that you use a dechlorinator that only dechlorinates chlorine but not chloramine. So make sure you get a good dechlorinator. And the next mistake is about not using snail. Now, snail, they do not eat plants, they eat algae, and they also help to recycle the nutrients really well, right? And another benefit they bring to the substrate is they actually dig the soil a lot, so they help to bring the nutrients from the top into the soil, and it also helps to oxygenate the soil a little bit. Okay, technically this won't kill your tank, but I thought it's a pro tip, so I'm just gonna leave it here. And that's it. Those are all the common mistakes that we see in a low-tech planted aquarium tank. If you have any other suggestion, any other mistakes that you see that's commonly done that's not listed, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below.